Hope you're doing well today. It's January 30th. We are in Job, looking at the passage as Job, or pardon me, as the Lord answers Job. And so, yesterday we looked at Elihu a little bit, and now the Lord speaks for himself. And I wanted to just think about what the Lord is saying. Chapter 38, as he says, "Prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me." Verse 4, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To where were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy? Or who shut in the sea with the doors when it burst forth and issued from the womb? When I made the clouds its garment, a thick and thick darkness its swaddling band." You know, all of these things, as we consider the Lord, what the Lord is saying is, I created this. I created everything. All things were made through him and for him, and there is nothing made that, as John speaks about, everything was made. Everything was created, and God is saying, were you there when I did that? Right? That's very simply, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? I've done all of these things. Come down a little bit further now, around verse 31. It says, "Can you bind the cluster of the Pleiades, or loose the belt of Orion? Can you bring out Mazzaroth in its season? Or can you guide the great bear with its cubs? Do you know the ordinances of the heavens? Can you set their dominion over the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds, that an abundance of water may cover you? Can you send out lightnings, that they may go and say to you, here we are? Who has put wisdom in the mind, or who has given understanding to the heart?" Here he is, and he's speaking about the stars. He's speaking about the constellations. God is. And he's saying, I've done all these things. I've done these monumental things. You look up to the sky and you see these things, the things that the navigators use to guide. And you give them their season, and you see them marching across the sky. I've done these monumental things, but then I've also given understanding to the heart. Right? Who has put wisdom in the mind? Or who has given understanding to the heart? And he's about to launch into different animals. It's like, what makes man different? You know, all the animals are different. But then man is so different. And it's like, I've done these monumental things, the things that are almost unimaginable. I've created these things. But then I've also given, which one is more impressive? The constellations, or the fact that he's given man understanding, that he's put wisdom in our minds? And which one was more difficult for the Lord to do? Well, neither one. He's done these things. Who has put wisdom in the mind, or given understanding to the heart? And actually, let's back up a little bit. I got these a little bit out of order, pardon me. Back up to verse 25. "Who has divided a channel for the overflowing water, or a path for the thunderbolt, to cause it to rain on a land where there is no one, a wilderness in which there is no man, to satisfy the desolate waste, and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass?" You know, for that section in my notes, I put that the Lord has made a way. He created all things, and then in creating all things, he also created a way. Who has divided a channel for the overflowing water? He's made a way. Or a path for the thunderbolt? He's made a way. How can a land where there is no rain, how can a wilderness spring forth tender grass? He's made a way. He's created all things. He's made the way. He's given man understanding. And then you come down a little bit later in our reading today. I don't think I mentioned it was chapter 38 and chapter 39. But let's come down a little bit further into chapter 39. And you have the animals. And it's we just don't have time to read it. But he speaks about, for example, the ostrich. The wings of the ostrich wave proudly, but are her wings and pinions like the kindly stork's? For she leaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in the dust. She forgets that a foot may crush them, or that a wild beast may break them. She treats her young harshly, as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain, without concern. Why? Because God deprived her of wisdom, and did not endow her with understanding. So you have this stupid bird. But then who has given the horse strength, clothing his neck with thunder? He paws in the valley, rejoices in his strength. He gallops in the clash of arms. He mocks at fear. The quiver rattles against him, the glittering spear and javelin. He devours the distances with fierceness and rage. Nor does he come to a halt because the trumpet has sounded. He smells the battle from afar, the thunder of captains and shoutings. What a difference between the ostrich and the war horse. Then verse 26, does the hawk fly by your wisdom and spread its wings toward the south? Does the eagle mount up at your command and make its nest on high? On the rocks it dwells and resides, on the crag of the rock and the stronghold. From there it spies out the prey. Its eyes observe from afar. Its young ones suck up blood, and where the slain are, there it is. All the different animals. So what has the Lord done? The Lord has created the universe. What the Lord has done, and you can tell life and death are spoken about in these chapters. Now what is that? The Lord has not just created the universe. The Lord has created ecosystems within the universe. Beginnings and endings is what the Lord has done. He's done all these things, and as he speaks to Job, what's the point? I think he's saying, I'm still in charge. I have been in charge. I am in charge. I will be in charge. I am God. I am God. And so Job needed to have faith. He needed to have faith. It's an interesting couple of chapters. The whole book of Job is interesting. So many lessons that we can learn from it. Just a few of them in the few moments we have today. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have a good day. Hope you join us for our next brief look into God's Word.